The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Good afternoon and good night or morning,
Or
depending
good
on when
morning,
you're
yes,
watching it.
yes.
Welcome to another edition of Table Topics. If you're watching the show on a Tuesday, it is a regular show. Any other day, come back and catch a new show the following week. So I went around that, Carlos.
Yes,
Gotta
no,
think of a
that's,
new thing.
you did good. You did good. Yes, it's Tuesday, and we're taping a new show of the Table Topics. So if you catch us on Wednesday, most likely it's going to be a new show. We tape on Tuesdays, and the show gets released on the air on Wednesdays. So. And then repeats sometimes in the morning, afternoons, nights. So they putting different times to catch different auditions.
Yeah.
So
we're all dressed up today. You look good, my friend.
well, we have. I'm planning to attend the meeting at City Hall tonight at 5 o'clock. They have the ordinances.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know which ordinance they're working out to put it on the books, since we probably have 5,000 and we don't follow them.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know which the new one that's going to go in the books, and then we have a regular city council meeting, which I have no agenda, so I don't know what's going to be on the agenda, but I try to make as many as I can. Independent of what's going to be on the agenda. Sometimes I walk into the meeting, I look at the agenda, a few things I'm curious about, and sometimes it's nothing in there. So I stay around for an hour or so, and then I leave.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good.
Usually I like to stay especially when the administration gets called to the table with questions. That's always interesting to see, especially behind the scenes, behind the cameras. What you don't see on camera, I can see 360.
Yeah.
I can see the whole room, and what's going on behind the curtains, and when it's the perfect time for city council to go get water, so you don't have to be sitting on the seat. You know what I'm saying? So you catch all that. So I think it's the second meeting for this city council.
For this year,
This city council. So it's going to be interesting this year, and I can't wait to start talking about budget. Oh, that's going to be like. I cannot wait to see how the budget it's working for 2025.
I happened to listen to our governor Maura Healey's governor's state of whatever, and
yes.
everything was fantastic.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Everything was fantastic. But we didn't
just
hear.
like what the city.
So,
the city, everything. It's fine.
Everything's fine. But we have a $1 billion amount we spent toward housing folks that have come over the border, and they're going to cut the state budget. But everything's fine.
Yeah.
Well, everything's fine now, but come June, we'll see what happens.
Yes. Yeah.
We're going to see what happens in June.
And it's funny because she mentioned, I don't know how many millions of dollars, $1 billion, whatever it is, for affordable housing.
Yeah.
Fall River didn't got $1.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They didn't ask for it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we don't need affordable housing.
Yeah.
In Fall River. We just need the guys with the big, deep pockets, and they're gonna turn the city around and It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. A huge city.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gonna
Well,
be-
I don't think I want a huge city. I think we're at
gonna
what
be
95
huge.
now. I liked it when it was like 88, 85. You know what I mean? The more people you get, the more crowded it gets, and the more they're putting people right on top of each other.
Mm-hmm.
The more building they're doing, they're right on top of one another, and nobody wants that. So
I mean, every time that I leave Fall River, I go somewhere because I have things to do,
yeah,
right? So you go to New Hampshire, an example, you go to New Hampshire, you have things to do, so you think, well, it would be nice if I live here,
yeah, yeah.
right? Because you have things to do.
Yeah.
If you go to Florida, you say, well, it would be nice. The weather, it's nice.
Yep.
Oh, you have things to do, and
No state income tax, just like New Hampshire.
yes.
Massachusetts.
So-
that's what they're trying to do too. Go ahead, let me let you finish.
Yeah.
because I'll-
So what I want to finish with my comments is that in Fall River they are giving the city to these people, thinking these people is going to come in here because they want Fall River. They want to move to Fall River.
Yeah. Well, I think with the economy, yes. But one thing I did notice that the governor wants to do is add on, you know how we have to pay excise tax for our cars every year? She wants to add on to that. So it's going to be like 5% added on to that, along with increasing the meal tax. So right now, the state tax is 6.25. We have 0.75, so that means you're paying 7% when you go out to eat. She wants to increase that but to 2.5. So the city would get 1%, and the state would get the other 6 point whatever. I don't know. They said that was it was a improvement or a city improvement. I don't think raising taxes, and it was also on hotels, raising taxes on our already high excise tax.
Yep.
To ride on these terrible roads.
Yeah.
How is that improving anything?
But what bothers me is, why don't you look on your budget and cut something to compensate what the money that you need to come in, right? So they never see it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We just need to
Yeah, and you increase taxes.
increase.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
need more. We need more. We need more. Never it's cut this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what I found interesting, I don't know if you had read it too this week, was St. Anne's Hospital, the
Yes.
Stewart Group,
Oh.
Brockton
Oh, my
Brockton, Taunton, and we get 1.7 million. They haven't paid their rent, so are they in trouble? Which a lot of these community hospitals are, because they're having to service people that don't have insurance, and Medicare payments are slow. So has anybody thought about what happens if they close?
But I don't. One thing, John, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
If you don't pay your car 2
Yeah.
months,
Yeah,
3 months, you go outside, you don't have a car.
yeah.
Okay, so how these people let this go a year, 2 years?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, but I mean, my thinking is with that is, what are you going to do? You kick them out, but basically, you're going to be able to get somebody back in there. They'd rather just hope and pray that they're going to get the money instead of
They
kicking these
just kick
people
the
out.
can down the road because after a year, you're going to lose them anyway.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
going to lose them.
yeah. It's a sad state of affairs, because if that happens, there'll be no hospital in Taunton, and I think Brockton is already down a hospital because they had a fire there. So, and even in Fall River, we'll be down one, and it seems like they're in use because they're busy all the time, both of them. So,
And some people prefer St. Anne's over Charlton.
yeah, I think there's been big improvements there now at St. Anne's. I mean, Morton Hospital, I've been up there a couple of years back. They've really improved that hospital as well.
But here's a bigger problem now is, now that you let this out of the box, now you have doctors going to be looking for another place to go.
Yeah.
They're not going to wait for them to put the sign on the door and lock the doors.
Yeah.
These people have,
Yeah,
their life
families
to,
and stuff. Yeah.
to pay for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some of them still, they doctor license to pay for insurances and all of that, because doctor don't pay insurance like we do.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just opened a big spend our bucks because now people is going to start looking for other jobs, going to look for, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think they had much control over that, but it all goes back to, I say, the economy in this country is so great. Even in Massachusetts, the economy is so great. That was coming from our governor. And then we have 3 hospitals in the state of Massachusetts that are having issues. So everything's so rosy.
So should the city get involved and try to look for a company?
I wasn't really going toward that area. I was going toward they pay us $1.7 million. That's a lot of money in tax revenue.
But now that the city is actually, could be losing a hospital, 1 out of 2 hospitals in the city, you think that the city should be getting involved and at least try to locate? Who knows if Charlton wants to grow?
I think maybe it's premature, but I think they should be talking about this because it's jobs lost and it's 1.7 million in tax revenue. And if that happens where they do shut down and then the budget's cut due to the state saying they don't have the money, that could really hurt that budget.
Well, I don't know what else we can do. We even give San N a street.
Yeah.
I mean, how much can the city give them? I mean, I don't know. But that's citywide, conversation. Now, and before we move on, everybody got on the mail, pretty sure, the census for this year?
Yep, got it.
It's very important for our listeners to return this information.
Yep.
And I'm going to, again, inform the Portuguese community, the Brazilians, that it's independent how the status of your legalization on the country.
Yep.
This is something that you must fill in. Yep. And with them, I've been trying this for many years. It's instead of getting the census coming on this election envelope, because if you are illegal here, you still getting our services, our bus services for schools, our school programs, and that's the money that's paying for those programs depends on this.
Yeah.
The more the more residents the city has, the more money becomes available to a city. Yeah. Which then end up in services and end up in schools and all of that. So even if you are illegal, you should send this paper in because this has nothing to do with immigration. This only has to do with the city. Yeah. And what happens is, and I know many of them, they see this election envelope, they don't even open it. They trash them. Yeah. They put it on the trash because they know they can get in trouble if they fill up stuff they're not supposed to. Yeah. Okay? So, and every time this comes out, I say the same thing. Just fill them in. They just have a couple of questions: where you live and what you do for work. That's it. That's what they want, and how many people it's on your house. That's what they need to know. So it's very important for you to fill in and return it. Now, to our American listeners.
And they even give you an envelope, the stuff.
They even
wow.
they give you an envelope, but they don't give you the sticker no more.
Yeah, the stamp.
The stamp,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
The stamp. They don't give you the stamp. But it's you can just drive by the city hall. They have a box right outside. You can just drop it there. It's just, 50 feet away from the post office. So instead of getting a stamp on post office, just drop on the box for free.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
Mine, I already filled them up, and I will just drop it at the elections office this week. I have to go to City Hall. So on the election, on the census, anything?
No, I mean, what I found out this time is we've got an envelope. Usually don't get envelopes with that stuff. So, I mean, you got to use the stamp, but this time it was nice to get an envelope that you don't have to use your own. You know? But I always fill it out because of the whole voting thing. It says it's going to take you off, which I'm sure they don't. I mean, no, but.
So I got mine yesterday when I got home, and I fill up. I put it inside the envelope, and I just ripped my outside envelope. That's why it's cut in half, because it was already on my recycling bin, and I had to grab it from my recycling bin just to bring it to the show today.
To show,
And then we have the famous. I got mine on the mail yesterday. My wife got hers, and my younger daughter got hers too. So I need to check with my oldest daughter if she already got hers. But very important, if you're going to be out of the country, if you don't want to go to the polls, it's very important for you to vote. You can use this. If not, I don't use it. I already had to put it on my drawer because I don't use this. I like the old-fashioned. I like to come out of work, dress up, go to pool, drop off my vote, and then go to City Hall and see and watch the numbers come in.
I mean, the only thing I'm going to say is I'm deadly against that, because it's whenever we send out things asking for things, a lot of fraud could get in the middle of that. That's the only issue I had, because I don't know, a lot of folks don't know, in the state of Massachusetts, if you want to go vote, all you have to do is just show them your address. And we heard that right from the Board of Commissioners. You don't have to prove that you're a citizen. You just show your address. Here's where I live, and you can vote. So right there, that's something that can be, there can be a lot of fraud involved in that because we don't verify this stuff.
On that, I probably not going to agree with you for the fact that at one point you have to register to vote. So they get your information. That's where they get your address. And then when you get to the tables to vote, they actually look for your address.
But you don't have to show any ID ever. Have to show any ID.
You don't have to. But that name is put on that list after you register to vote.
It doesn't. To me, when you go in to register to vote, you need to show some kind of ID that you're a U.S. citizen.
I agree
you can't
with
vote.
you.
But we don't have that in Massachusetts. So that, to me, that can involve fraud. If you're not checking documentation, when we go on our plane with the group in February, I can't just go, you're not seeing my passport. Don't you believe me? I'm an American. But when people go to vote in this country, they don't have to prove they're U.S. citizens. So that only leads to fraud. And Jimmy Carter, Democrat Jimmy Carter, had said this years back, that when you have ballots, mail-in things, it's ripe for fraud. And it's just, I totally don't agree with that. You know what I mean? But we're not going to, you know what I mean?
It's fine. So my opinion about this, yes, we should be asked identification, just because the address confirms the address and the name. I can give you that. Now, how the address gets actually on the book is because they get the information from your registration. And when you register to vote, then. But now, when you go to register to vote, that's what I think that's wrong. When you go to register to vote, they give you an application, you bring it home. When you do return it, they don't verify anything. I'm here to return my application. Okay, thank you. The next thing, you get a letter from the election office saying that you registered. Now, what I put on that application, I can lie. I can go and say, I'm an American citizen. They don't verify that.
And that's, to me, that's right for fraud. So you can have fraud involved in that.
Yes. So the process to get you registered needs a better work. Now, when you go to vote, that address, it's there, and it's not up to them to verify if you live on that address.
But I mean, if you go to any country in Europe, they verify this stuff, I'm sure. You know what I mean? You can't
I mean,
just like,
everything is verified.
Yeah,
You just
but-
talked about getting on a plane.
Yeah.
Why you going to get on to start? Why did you got that plane ticket?
yeah.
They won't give you. You didn't went to
Yeah, I
the
had to
airline
give
and
them-
say, "My name is John
I had to
Silva,
give- yeah, I had to
and
give them my ID."
I'm an American, and I want to buy a ticket."
Yeah.
You have to bring your passport.
Yeah.
They have
And-
to verify.
And that's where I have that issue.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And I'll just say this one last thing. When, and this has been brought up again, you know, that, you know, some folks don't think, you know, like the last election was fair. And all of a sudden you're a conspiracy theorist. But there are so many things that are out there. And I'll give you one example. I heard this again, and I had heard it before, that there were nursing homes in Wisconsin, that there was 1 or 2 people that would gather the votes for all the people in there, gather the ballots. I don't have a problem with that. However, there were some people that the family members came back and said, you went through the dementia unit, and 3/4 of these people don't even know what's going on right now, but they said they voted for this, you know what I mean? They got ballots for this person. And when they went to look at them, they were all for a certain person. So, you know, with these races we've had are by 4,000 and 5,000, 9,000 votes. If you have a bunch of nursing homes that you're taking all these ballots from, that's an issue, you know? Same thing in Georgia. They got a whole bunch of military votes. Now, military votes are normally conservative votes. Majority of them are. When they opened all the military votes, they were all for Biden. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, to me, you want to be on the up and up and show ID, because if I want somebody else and I see that people are not being on the up and up, that's not right. I'm going to say that's not right. But all of a sudden, since some people hate a certain person or certain people, and I'm not fond of a lot of the Democrats in this state. You know what I mean? I'm not fond of a lot of the Republicans, but if you are saying this because you don't want that person in and you're letting them not do the right thing, that creates a lot of disbelief. And I feel that's what's happened in this country. We're almost turning into a third world country. Whereas when I was a kid, I'd sit back and watch, and the U.S. and the UN would come in to these countries in Africa, and they'd make sure, and people would put their fingerprints here because they didn't believe the votes. But we, as the U.S. and the UN, went in there to verify that. Who verified our elections? Because when everything was brought up, everybody was like, "Oh, that's a big lie."
I think that the registry should be connected to the immigration.
But they're not, Carlos. That's our laws here in the state.
That's what I'm saying. They should be, because when you go to the motor vehicles to get your license, you're going to need a Social Security. They verify with Social Security. That's actually you with Social Security. So when you go to register and to start, I'm a citizen, I need to put my citizenship number, and that number should be backed up by the citizen office. You know what I'm saying?
But they're not verifying that, Carlos.
But
'cause
they
you know,
don't verify
You know,
that.
you hear this story that people that are here that are not that are illegally here or don't have their papers, whatever, they're paying taxes. How are they paying taxes? They
Well,
must be using a fraudulent Social Security number.
No.
So.
No. What happens is they register for a tax ID, what it's called PIN, P-I-N. And I help many of them getting that number. So what happened? That's not a Social Security number. That's a tax ID number. So they follow the income taxes, and they put that number, which is just served to file income taxes. So that's the PIN number, PIN. So, and we have 5 minutes. Very important night today. New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah.
So what you expecting from New Hampshire?
I don't know. I just know a lot of money is being thrown at Nikki Haley. A lot of Democrats are changing their affiliation to vote for Nikki Haley. I like Nikki Haley, some of the things. I don't like some of the other things with Nikki Haley. She's pro-war. She's sort of a warmonger, a war hawk. I don't like that. We're now in what? Israel, the Middle East, we're in Yemen, and we're in Ukraine. And I didn't realize we're in Iraq, because weren't we supposed to be out of Iraq? But we're in Iraq. They're attacking our people in Iraq. Why are we there? So Iraq, Yemen, Israel, Ukraine, enough. You know what I mean? I'm tired of this. So the Democrats are supposed to be against war, But this Democratic president has brought us into 4 wars, inflation crazy. I don't know how anybody could vote for this for this president again. I don't know how they could.
But how can people on the other side vote for Trump? It's the same thing. So they both not good.
Yeah.
They both not good.
Whatever happens, if you see right now, if Trump gets in, they're going to just hammer him. Because how many, right now, during an election, they made him go to New York,
He's
come
not going to
back.
get in because the election's going to get stalled again. I mean, it's already out.
No, I don't think that's going to, they'll basically, they're drowning him in lawsuits, Carlos, which is unreal.
I just heard on a Portuguese radio station coming here that I don't know how I lost the first part of the conversation, but I believe a friend of the Obamas said that Michelle is actually thinking about.
Of course she is. She's
running.
been out there all of a sudden. Of course she
So
did.
this coming from a friend of the family, probably that been in conversations, that probably been, which we already mentioned about a year ago.
I told you that about a year ago this was going to happen.
Yes.
I told you that a year ago. That's going to
Yes.
happen because they don't want him to get in.
Yes.
So you have a choice of whether you don't, Trump was in, the economy was better, we didn't have people pouring into our country, we weren't in 4 different wars, and they're going to go back to the 8 years under Obama where our economy was fluttering.
What I'm being finding funny too is, in watching these elections last week and this week, is the people voting for Nikki, they're really not excited about what Nikki has to offer as president.
They're doing that to knock him out.
They doing that because they don't like Obama. They don't like Trump.
Yeah.
It's a vote against Trump.
Yeah.
So Nikki's getting all these votes. Some of them it's for Nikki, and some of them is against Trump.
Yeah.
Which, that's why I said, for 4 years I've been saying this, the reason that Biden is president was votes against Trump. And now it's in very small scales, but we're seeing a lot of votes against Trump. Okay? So I would not be surprised if this snowball keeps going until the final vote.
Yeah. And you had the last word. Good night.
Good night.